Salam alaikum, shalom, grüß Gott, bonjour, privet, dobar dan, namaste, and welcome to this comparison. Mainly between the audiolab OMNIA and the Arcam Solo Music. But I will also talk about the Unico Primo by Unison Research. Now, the first difference is the backlight of the remote. You can see it. These buttons have that. The remote, I would have to do it this way because this remote belongs to the OMNIA. That's the classic audiolab remote. And this remote belongs to the Arcam. You can light this up. This comes in handy at night. And the left one doesn't have that. Another difference is you can not dim the display completely. So while listening, you cannot dim the display of the OMNIA completely. So you cannot switch the display off completely. You will still see a little bit of the artwork or whatever is displayed on the display. While you can completely, where is it? Where does it say dim display? If you push this one, you can completely turn off this little display, which is here. Here it's for the CD. Now, talking about the software, in my opinion, the Arcam app, the control app, is quite good now. I made a video a few years ago when I said high-end sound or highest end sound, lowest end app. That's not the case anymore. The control app is good. It's really good. It works. In my opinion, it has one advantage over the app, the Play-Fi app of audiolab. And the advantage is you can turn off the Arcam Solo Music by only using the app. As far as I know, you cannot do that with the audiolab OMNIA. If I'm wrong, please write it down with a comment. But it's not possible as far as I know. So you have to use the remote or this big button here. Now, yeah, that's about the app. Now, Arcam has another app too, but I didn't use that since I don't stream with this. You could stream with Tidal. There is no Spotify, so there is no Spotify at all. No Spotify Connect, no Spotify anything. So since it doesn't have AirPlay, you cannot stream it that way. This one doesn't have AirPlay too. There you see the packages and my iPhone. Now, this the left one is doesn't have AirPlay, but it has Spotify Connect. It has Tidal. It doesn't have Tidal Connect by now. I hope it will have that one day, and I hope it will have AirPlay. But at the high-end Munich, I asked the I don't know his name, Como, something like that, the speaker designer for Mission and for how is it called, the Elysian, the Wharfedale. So that sir told me it is quite unlikely that the Play-Fi app will get AirPlay too. Now, what else? Now, maybe you can see this black beauty, I would call it, but if you touch it with something, it doesn't get scratches, but it gets so weird white points usually, and it is quite hard to get rid of them. So I have no idea what I could use to get rid of these white points. So as soon as it is not a fingerprint magnet. It's not that. It's quite the opposite. It doesn't get fingerprints, but as soon as you touch it with something else, it gets. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but that's not the case with the Arcam Solo Music Mark II. Now, I think of something else I could tell you before I talk about the sound difference. Now, so obviously I told you this one has this standby turn on, turn off thing inside the app, but there is one problem. That is not the same standby as if you turn it off using the remote. So it stays quite warm when turning it off only using the app. So there is some kind of two different standbys. If it is still waiting for a signal from the app, obviously something in this, the processor or whatever, still works and creates some heat. While this doesn't have that problem, since again, in my experience, I couldn't turn it on only using the remote. I couldn't turn it on using the app. It only works with the remote or this button. Now, maybe I did forget something. If so, I would write it down in the comments. If you have a question, just ask me. I really have no idea how Rune works with the one or the other. I have no idea. So when it comes to Rune, I'm not the one to ask, to be honest. Exactly. So I did. What did I do? I did use the Arcam amp with a streamer with the, how is it called? The Wiim Mini, and one by Lintec that's called Air Lino. So as I told in my last video about the Arcam, it sounds the best when using the built-in CD player. That is really amazing. It sounds very, very, very good when you use the built-in CD player. That is, if that isn't high-end or high fidelity, I don't know what is. So the same is the case for the OMNIA, but the OMNIA sounds almost as good when streaming music. So I streamed Tidal, and there were some MKII songs. This one, the Arcam doesn't play MKII songs in their full sample rate or bit rate or whatever. The audiolab OMNIA does that, and this really sounded good. Still, playing a CD was the best. And both, I listened to both using the Elac Vela. I didn't hear the OMNIA using the Focal Aria 906. Now let me tell you why I mentioned that speaker. It was, for me, it was a speaker that was hard to drive. I didn't like that speaker. It was always something missing. And I knew what it was the bottom end. And this speaker, after using several speakers, several amps, for example, the XTZ or XTZ A2300, which has 300 watts into 4 ohms, I guess. So on paper, much more power than this one has, but this Arcam Solo Music Mark II was the one to make the Aria sound unbelievably amazing. It was just mind-blowing. I listened to a Turkish singer called Yashar with his album Dem, D-E-M, and he was just in the room. He was just singing in the room. I couldn't believe what's happening, and that was my video about the synergy between these are the Arcam Solo Mark II, Arcam Solo Music Mark II, and the Focal Aria. I don't have that speaker anymore. I have this one. I think this is a better all-rounder since it produces also bass, and yeah, but it doesn't get that. This speaker doesn't give this intimacy. The speaker is in front of you feeling. With this one, I guess this Vela is the even more audiophile approach when the soundstage is behind the speaker line. All right, I guess at least that's what Paul McGowan, I guess, from PS Audio, always tells us, that the soundstage has to be behind the speakers. To be honest, I like it when the singer is closer to me than the speaker line, the line between the two speakers. I like it when it gets closer to me, not far away. All right, so why are these two amps so unbelievably different? Because I cannot say that one is better than the other, even though the audiolab should be better because it's newer, or the Arcam should be better because it was more expensive. But I would say there is no winner, because in my opinion, in my experience, there is no doubt that it comes to your taste, which one you like more, and to your speaker, and maybe to your room too. But I would say the most important thing is your taste and your speaker. So I had the Arcam Solo Music, and I heard what it did to the Focal Aria, and that was amazing. But I didn't want to have that Arcam sound with my Elac Vela. What the Arcam does is giving it a full bottom end, a lush, maybe it is a upper bass bump, which makes it sound so full, and yeah, also the mid-range so full, so yeah, it is. Obviously, it emphasizes a lush bass, and on the other hand, the audiolab OMNIA doesn't do that at all. It has a tight bass, very neutral, no emphasis on the bass. It is powerful. In my opinion, it sounds more powerful than it claims to be with its watts, only 50 into 8 ohms per channel. But it really makes these Vela have bass and not lack bass at all. So if I want an amp for my Elac Vela, I personally would choose the Audiolab OMNIA. It is way more neutral in its sound signature. The Arcam is clearly more, it's not more clear, it is clearly more warm. It has a lush sound to it, top to bottom. It is so the treble or this high notes are so dense, so lively. Maybe it is not maybe I wouldn't say lively. It is so I can't say it. It's lively. It has a density to it. And the Audiolab, on the other hand, is clearly clearer. It is the more transparent, clearer sounding, cleaner sounding amp. If you want detail, it is the audiolab. There is no doubt that that one gives you more detail. This one thing I really like about the audiolab is this pitch black background. This gaps, the space between sound events is, if you close your eyes, there is just nothing coming from there. The Arcam too, but the audiolab is even better in that regard. So there is one song that sounds so good with the audiolab. That's Yeni Bir Şarkı von, I guess, Evren Can Gündüz. That's a Turkish singer-songwriter, and his song Yeni Bir Şarkı, translated into English, it's a new song, a new you. So it's about his new love, and it sounds so good. It makes the Elac, which has already a bit of sweetness to it, just do its thing. It doesn't add something to the Vela, which the Arcam obviously does. And the thing that comes with the Arcam was exactly what the Focal Aria 906 needed, in my opinion, and with my taste. Exactly that. So it rescued the Focal Aria 906. So I used the audiolab also as a preamp, streamer DAC preamp for my active speakers in the second floor, and that was good. So in that case, I didn't stream, I listened to CD. So that's, I mean, in the end, this is a CD player with a preamp built in. And do you know if another CD player, which is only a CD player with a built-in preamp, so to control the volume? I don't know. I mean, you could buy another amp with a built-in CD player and control the volume. There is one from, or several ones from AVM. They have built-in CD players too, but they are, in my opinion, very expensive, starting with, I guess, 5,000 euros or something. And now, so this one is not only an amp, it is also a preamp, a CD player, a DAC, and I didn't use the Arcam as a preamp for my active speakers. I don't know if I could have done that. I don't know if that's possible. Maybe I will try it and then let you know if that's possible, but yeah. So I would say the audiolab is more versatile. There is no doubt about that. The app just gives you more options, despite the fact that you cannot use it to turn it on or off, but it gives you way more options. And so the audiolab is more detailed. The Arcam sounds lusher. The audiolab, I would say, is quicker, and the bottom end has a tighter bass. The Arcam is about sounding full and lush, and not about fast or something. And when it comes to the sound, I would really not recommend one over the other if I don't know your taste. So if I had to keep one for the rest of my life, I would keep the Unico Primo from Unison Research, but that's for another video. So I could just give you a sneak peek. This is just an integrated amplifier, so there is no DAC, and in this case I have to say I judged, or I did this comparison and my judgment always using the built-in DAC of both. So I didn't try an external DAC to just compare the built-in integrated amplifier. I didn't compare the preamplifiers. I didn't compare the amplifier itself. I always compared these two, this as a whole package and this as a whole package, and using listening to a CD or watching a nature documentary. And so if there are any questions, just ask me. If it is about Rune, I'm sorry, I have no idea. I don't use Rune. I usually use AirPlay 2. Both of these don't have that. That's why I relied on Bluetooth. Yeah, that's one thing. Both work fine with Bluetooth. Really fine. There is no stuttering. No, it works fine. And talking about this amp or the comparison between these two amps will be in another video, because this one is really I just bought this to try it, to listen to it at home, because I always say, if you have the chance, listen for yourself and listen at home if you have that chance. And I wanted to do that because Zero Fidelity, Sean from Zero Fidelity, made a video about this one. And I also bought the preamp tube he recommended. And I will try that one day and see if maybe this little hiss that is coming from the tweeter disappears with the other preamp tube. Talking about hiss, there is no noise coming from the tweeter whatsoever when using these two amps. With these two amps, the tweeter, even this Jet 5, that's very sensitive. Jet 5 is dead silent, so these two do a great job in that regard. And that's it. Now, I have no doubt that I did forget something to mention, but if it is important, I will write it down in a comment, right? This is a class A/AB/G amp, and this is a class AB amp. This is, I guess, 80 or 90 watts into 8 ohms, and this is 50 watts into 8 ohms. Maybe 75 into 4 ohms, and this is 125, about something like that, into 4 ohms. And the rest you can read in the internet, I guess. The display, and this one is a color display. This one just have a few, the possibility to show a few numbers, and that is it. This doesn't have a volume control, just up and down. This has the strangest volume knob on planet Earth, just a plastic rotary, or how do you call that? I have no idea. And this has less depth, so it is not Besta-Fi. You know, there is a word created by John Darko, I guess, Kallax-Fi. This is not Kallax-Fi, but this is Besta-Fi, IKEA Besta, because look how deep the Unison Research Unico Primo is, and how deep the Arcam Solo Music is, and this one is ideal. So I would like to try some other amps too, but I guess it will be very, very hard to beat this one under 3,000 euros. Maybe the Riga Illicit Mark V can beat this one in sound quality. But yeah, I will make another video about that one. So have a nice day or night whenever you watch this, And if you have the chance, listen for yourself. Don't judge gear by its review. And that's it for this comparison. Thank you very much and bye bye.